What up, world? This is TheGoalNet recording live from Chicago. I don't know if I can actually call this live. This is take two. Unfortunately, technology failed me exporting my video and it crashed. So here we are doing a second take. First things first, it is June 2020. We are still in the midst of the coronavirus. Been a little weird creating hockey content when there's way more important things going on in the world, but I hope everybody is staying healthy. And we are looking forward for people looking forward to getting back on the ice, to actually getting out there. I hope to be on the ice in about 2 weeks from now. And as you will notice from the tags still being on these pads, I have not worn them yet. So these pads are so innovative to me and they have some features that are so new. I really wanted to give them a trial run, and not because I didn't think I'd like them, but more I just thought that I kind of want to see and know how they feel before I jump into a game. Wearing as many different sets of pads as I do and generally playing games most of the time, if you jump in with something that you're not that quite comfortable with, I almost find myself like doing reviews during the game, and that's not really fair to my teammates. So definitely wanted to give these a fair shake. So I mentioned how new they are, and unless you live under a rock, you probably know what I'm getting at, but let's take a look anyway. This revolutionary new feature is the Stabila Slide knee block. As I like to call it, it's a monolithic knee block in the sense that it is all one piece. There are not multiple components coming together to make this knee block. So normally we'd see the calf wing, the knee wing out there, which would be the part that touches the ice. Then we'd have the knee block, and then there'd be the three-piece landing area. This is one piece, but the other biggest difference with this pad is not only the one-piece assembly, but we don't see any lacing or any stitching down here. And this knee block is very rigid. That's because it's actually mechanically hinged to the goalie pad. So if you were to look at the inside of this pad, there is a mechanical 90-degree block that looks very much like a shelf bracket that runs through the knee pad and then runs inside the core of the goalie pad. So there's a right angle that comes from here and across. So this plastic piece is actually molded inside the core of the goalie pad, and then the knee block is basically assembled on top of it. If I don't quite have the assembly process perfectly explained, please bear with me, but at a high level, that's pretty darn close. And being that this is brand new, I don't know if any of us are actually going to get the opportunity to see how this is built and assembled and created, but that's it. So why is this so cool? So this is one of those things that, you know, whenever I think about goalie pads and try and wonder like, why isn't something on there? I usually assume it's illegal. And for years and years, I've thought that the concept of making the knee block attached to the goalie pad would be better. I was fortunate enough to first see this line of gear in probably October of 2019 in Mississauga at Bauer's office. And I was blown away with the knee block. And my first thought is like, this isn't illegal. I've thought about this for so many years. It would make such a better pad. I can't believe you guys are doing this. This is amazing. And I'm really excited to see this on the ice. But so why am I so excited? Why do I think this is so great? Basically, pads can over or under rotate. And if you're not familiar with that terminology, under rotation is what plagued old pads that didn't have very good shape, didn't have solid cores, didn't have good knee landing gear. And that's when the pad actually tilted a little bit forward. So that is under rotation, meaning the pad didn't rotate all the way back to where it needs to be. And then there's another plaguing issue, which is over rotation. And that is when the pad rotates too much and you actually get a gap where the puck could slide under, where your knee is not going to land firmly on the knee block. That was something that was really popular in the early 2000s when goalies were wearing really loose pads and letting the pad kind of rotate around their leg. Today, when we have all this advanced strapping, we can wear the pad snug and secure, and they still rotate beautifully. They snap into shape when we get up. They feel more responsive than ever. So Bauer has cured this issue for us, and I haven't used this on the ice, so I cannot verify if it works or not. But in theory, we will not see over or under rotation. And the other beautiful thing about this is because this is so solid, probably hard to see in the video, but I mean, this is really solid. It gives a little bit in and not too much out. There's gonna be no loss of energy when we go down into the butterfly. So I am expecting a really solid seal, and that all of my energy is holding the pad down to the ice right here. So that's why I'm so excited about this feature. That's why I've been so excited to see these pads and really commend Bauer on the innovation and on trying this. And I hope it works as great as I think it does, because that'll be a great feature. So aside from the knee block, what else is new on ultrasonic compared to the Bauer 2S Pro, which is the gear it replaces, or the Bauer 2X Pro, which is the line it complements? Why does Bauer have two lines? Because different gear will appeal to different goalies. So Supreme will be different than Vapor. So first thing, this whole pad is coated with Bauer's CoreTech ST material. That is the second generation of their Odin technology with overmolding the skin of the goalie pad on the pad's core. This is greatly improved durability versus the first generation. It drives me bananas in the comments section how many people ask if Bauer gear is still durable. From what I understand, the pros are actually using less Bauer gear these days than almost any of the other brands, in the sense that the pads are lasting longer, so they're using less sets per season. That's because Bauer is a company with a lot of resources, and they put a lot of time and literally money into improving the durability. So I had really good luck on my 2X Pro, which I believe was the debut of the CoreTech ST material. And the ultrasonic pads have it as well, so I do expect the durability to be improved. And there's also subtle little tweaks like the triangle here and there in the boot brake, and some special engineering and design around this wrinkle to make sure that this area of the pad can flex and perform as it needs to be, and is also very durable. And then one of the other interesting subtle tweaks is this upper binding, which kind of has the unique ultrasonic logo, this punch out, this drop out there. And as I understand it, this helps thin out the top of the pad core, and then it also gets rid of a ton of the bunching that we are used to seeing with top bindings. And if we get rid of the bunching, there's less material to catch on either one of these edges, and that should help improve the durability in the pad. And if you've ever seen any of my reviews, you know that every single pair of pads I own, because the way I stand, there's always a wrinkle or two on the edge. We get some wear, and that even applies to bindingless top bindings. So I'm pretty interested to see how the welt, as Bauer calls it, with this new design performs. So what else is new on this pad? The actual goalie pad core itself is new and different. The previous pads had Bauer's Power Light core in it. This has Bauer's Shock Light core. And one of the big changes with this pad and the improvements that they tried to make is about the shape and the long-term shape of the pad. And what I mean by long-term is, how long is this goalie pad going to hold that shape? Is it going to compress over time? Is the thigh rise going to become floppy? Is it going to kind of bend over and look more like an S? This Bauer pad should retain its shape much better than any of the pads before it. And one of the other unique features that we can't see when talking about it is there's curved composite in the thigh rise. So that means under here, if we were actually to see inside the goalie pad's core, there is a piece of composite material that is there to help with the shape in the seal and the rebound. So if a puck hits you in the 5-hole, it's going to go flying out of play. This new piece is asymmetrical, which means it's not a uniform shape like a square. And that is designed to, again, help the shape and help the rebound. So that's some really innovative stuff under the hood that we can't exactly see. The other biggest feature, I think, aside from the knee block, that you'll actually be able to notice and see. So again, it's a big deal when a goalie pad manufacturer changes the core. That requires testing and some engineering that goes into that. And it's also truly the goalie pad is the core. So changing the core means it is truly a new pad. But back to stuff we can see is the boot on this pad is greatly improved flexibility over the 2S Pro. And again, I didn't wear that pad and I can't comment on it, and I don't have the specs in front of me, but I believe that actually had a fuse style boot, which means the boot brake was very stiff. This is very flexible, which is what nearly every goalie on the market is going to want now, so that it's very comfortable getting in and out of RVH, and the pad is responsive. Versus if we check out the thigh rise of this pad, it kind of maintains what we expect from Bauer Supreme, being probably the most stable, stiff, responsive core on the market. So it's going to flex up here where we want it to, and not in the thigh rise where we don't. If you find this stock core profile too stiff, you can go custom with Bauer or check out Vapor. So you can get customized Supreme or Vapor if you want a softer thigh rise in this pad. And one of the other unique things to talk about with the boot here is the angle. So almost every pad on the market now has a 90-degree boot angle, which means the boot is going to come down flush. And if you see me drawing this 90-degree angle here, you'll notice this slopes down at a 125-degree angle. This is by design by Bauer. It's the last pad, I believe, on the market left with this brake. And this means that the pad is going to sit up away from your foot a little bit, more off your foot. For goalies that like that feel, it's going to make the pad sit a little bit higher on your leg, and you won't feel the skate actually touching the boot as much on this style pad. So if you've been seeing a bag of plastic out of the corner of your eye as I've been filming this video, one man with a camera, don't have a sophisticated camera crew, wondering what are we looking at? Bauer actually has a professor style inner strap that comes loose in the bag, which I do plan to use, but I haven't had the opportunity to try it, but this will secure in there. And then for goalies that still like a boot strap, we have the CRS strap that can be worn under the boot or back around the heel, the Lundy loop. And then Bauer also, with the customizer, optionally, you can add some leather straps as well to this. And from what I can tell as well, looks like Bauer actually gives you two different sizes of the professor strap in the bag. So that is very nice of them. Actually went with a custom size on my Optic 2s because the stock size was a little too tight for my liking. So appreciate the thought that Bauer has put into the pad by adding those as well. So aside from a new core, new boot flex, new knee block, the strapping is also new. Again, literally everything on Ultrasonic is pretty much new, aside from kind of the hard rebounds and the sliding that we've come to always expect from Bauer gear. Bauer basically ported over its Tune Fit strapping, and the version on the Supreme here is called Tune Fit Connect. When I say ported over, this was a custom option previously on Bauer Supreme, and it's been stock on Vapor. And if you follow at TheGoalNet on Instagram, you'll notice I've probably green bubbled a lot of Bauer goalies over the years that have a Supreme core with Vapor style strapping, properly known as the Tune Fit. This replaces the CRS strapping, which debuted with the Odin gear. I wasn't a huge fan of the CRS strapping. I found it to be very cumbersome to put on the locker room, and I couldn't ever quite get it tight enough. So as I mentioned earlier, with modern strapping, the beauty is that you can wear them tight on your legs so they're responsive, but the elastic still gives. I always found that strapping to be just a tad loose and sloppy. So this is a welcome change to me from Bauer. And then the last thing that's really new in terms of tech here is this pillow that we see, and then this kind of molded angled calf wrap and the way it's attached. And this is Bauer's Butterfly Assist. And this is designed to put your leg in just the right position in the butterfly as well. So that is a sneaky little feature, but basically the knee block, the strapping, and the calf area are new. Really highlights how much change in a positive way has gone into what is the Supreme Ultrasonic. So appreciate you tuning in. We are kind of running out of time here for the Instagram. And Bauer videos are always a challenge because there's so much technology packed in to get it all in these 15 minutes. If you happen to be watching on YouTube, please throw me a subscribe. I really appreciate it. So as you can tell, tons of changes on Bauer Ultrasonic. I'm ecstatic to get out on the ice and try it. Tune back in for a review.